Hello, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day.
Hello, Facebook friends.
We are so excited to be here because you are our favorite people and we want to celebrate love with you.
Absolutely. So we brought the champagne and
We? So we did bring the champagne, but we did bring wisdom, which is better than champagne.
That's
What do
right.
you think? And so hello, everyone. Welcome to our live presentation today. And what we're really going to do tonight is our intention is to help you get inspired to make this your very, very last Valentine's Day you ever have to spend alone or in a relationship that's not making you happy. If you just met someone and maybe you're out on a date and you're listening to the replay, we hope that what we share tonight will help you even make that relationship work if it's supposed to work. And we're going to talk a lot about what we call the pre-attraction mindset.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept. Not that many people talk about it, and so we thought we'd spend a little bit of time explaining what's required before you can fall in love.
Yes. So why are we doing this? Well, first of all, it's Valentine's Day. And my whole business before I even met Rob was about love. And now that we work together, it's appropriate for us to celebrate with you all. It's our mission in life to really help people get in touch with the love inside. And whether that is, through a man eventually, or just that self-worth and self-love that we all want to have and empowerment. And the reason we're doing this today is because we have some exciting new things coming down the pike. We started a new system called Empower Your Relationships. So we have this whole system for empowering women in both personal and professional relationships based on Jungian psychology, neuroscience, and Eastern wisdom. And our first iteration of this wonderful new system is a program on love. And so it's Empower Your Relationships for Love for single women. And we also have a love coach certification that we're starting next month.
And we're writing a book.
Yes, so our book is going to be out hopefully this spring. So our new book that we're going to write about the wonderful ways to find love in the Jungian perspective.
Yeah, and maybe a movie down the
Maybe
line.
a movie, maybe a Netflix special. But for right now, we have that. And we also have some really great new tools with emotional wisdom and our love persona assessments that we do that will help you figure out what type you are based on the 4 feminine archetypes. So lots of great stuff. We can't cover them all tonight, but we just wanted to say how excited we are about our new mission. And 2020. And again, the goal is to really make you feel inspired that this is your last Valentine's Day alone, and to really understand what is going on so you can make the changes and find true love in your life.
Yep. So
why can't people find true love, Rob? Why do you think the biggest for you, if someone said, Rob, I can't find love, what would you tell them? What would you say?
I know. I always say, what if aliens came and asked you, what's going on here on Earth? Why can't people find love? It's something like this. Most people put the cart before the horse. So in a horse and cart relationship, the horse pulls the cart, right? So the horse goes first. So in this equation, what is the horse?
What is the horse?
What is it?
Do you have a donkey pulling your cart?
No, it's that they put the cart above or before the horse, so the horse can't push the cart. Right?
Yes.
And so what pulls a person towards creating love, right? That's the question. And the answer is kind of simple but profound in a way, because it's the unconscious mind. And what do we mean by the unconscious mind? It simply means the emotional expression and the emotional imprints that we received as children. And those emotions that are in the unconscious mind create your current relationships.
And so if we think about how relationships work, The way we're different is that a lot of people, like if you think about love and relationship coaches and books and therapists, they'll talk about these two levels. There's two levels in their world. One is the attraction level. That's how you attract the right person. Are they physically attractive? Where do you go to find them? How do you start the dating process? How do you flirt with them? You know, what to do on a date? And then eventually, if you do all the right things and follow all the dating rules, you'll get to that bonding stage where they want to commit to you. And then you have this longer term relationship, and hopefully it leads to marriage and partnership and all those wonderful things. So there's the attraction, and then there's the bonding. And so you're either probably stuck on you could be stuck in the attraction phase where you're just not finding anyone that even gets to that bonding stage, or you're not even hitting the attraction phase. You're not going out there. You're not meeting anyone you're attracted to. It's kind of crickets out there. And so we have to look at those. If you just work on those, like how to date and where to go and what to look for, and have your list of the right person, and find that compatible match, you're really just missing out on something much deeper. And it's what we call the pre-attraction mindset. And it's really the unconscious template that we're bringing into the whole process. So if you don't know what you're bringing in, it doesn't matter if you play all the games right and you open your heart to a person. It may be the person that's not going to break your heart. So we have to say, well, what is that we're bringing into the relationship? Who am I that I'm bringing in? And if you don't address that, your relationship from attraction to bonding will be predestined.
Right.
And it's not the soulmate destiny that, you know, the cards and the astrology will tell you that there's a predestined fate. You're predestined by your template. And if you don't understand why you're stuck in a pattern, you're going to keep repeating the pattern, even if you're the most brilliant dating person. I was the great flirt. I mean, I flirted. I knew how to meet people. I know you can't believe that, but I was very outgoing at one point. And so I didn't have a problem with that. I was just bringing my pre-attraction mindset was all about, I'm not good enough. I don't know if someone's going to bond with me. I'm afraid of commitment. All these things that I wasn't conscious of that I was bringing into the experience, and it was playing out the same way over and over again. So we have a lot of people ask the question, where do I find the right person? Because I asked, what's your burning question earlier this week? Mm-hmm. Where do I go to find the right person? Why am I stuck? And that's what we're going to talk about. So the pre-attraction mindset, can you explain what that is now that I talked about it in a brief way?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, everybody talks about, or everybody knows essentially that the good stuff is in the bonding. Mm-hmm.
Well, sometimes the flirting can be good.
Yeah, but what is the goal of the flirting? Mm-hmm. It's to get to bonding, essentially, to create a beautiful relationship. In attachment theory, the whole purpose of studying attachment was to see, you know, how do people really bond at that stage, or if they're not able to bond, what's going on? You know, what causes those difficulties in bonding? So the bonding, the attachment that occurs in relationships, everybody knows that's kind of the goal. Mm-hmm. Consciously or unconsciously, that's what you're moving towards. So before bonding can occur, there has to be attraction, as you know. The whole dating game.
With anybody you're not attracted to.
That's right. The whole dating game is about who do I find attractive and who finds me attractive. Mm-hmm. Right? It's that energy, and then people talk about chemistry and all that good stuff, which is great. And we need to understand those things. There's even research now being done on what is happening neurochemically, biologically, and in the brain when people are attracted to each other. Mm-hmm. Incredible stuff.
But that's just showing the effect, but not the cause.
Right.
The effect of attraction, the effect of bonding.
That's right. So one step before attraction, what is happening in the individual, and what is the individual bringing to the table, like you said, before the attraction phase kicks in.
I call it pre-love, but Rob didn't like that. But it's like what are you bringing in? It's like the preparing yourself for love.
Right, and a lot of people don't think about that, and that's what I meant by they put the cart before the horse. They're thinking that first they're going to meet the person
Mm-hmm.
and then figure it out
Mm-hmm.
as they go along.
Or they try to fit the person into what their agenda.
That's right.
Like I've so many times I was like, oh, this person is so, I'm attracted to him, and I want him to fit into like my boyfriend, but he wasn't committed, and so it was like that struggle to try to fit like a peg in a square hole. Like,
Yeah.
It's not fitting.
Very much so. Or they think that the relationship is going to give them love.
Mm.
If your heart is not open, if you're not ready for love, if you haven't done your internal work, it doesn't matter if there's 100 people lined up to love you. You're not going to experience love because you're not able to experience it from within.
And here's a simple way to explain that. Like an example is that, say you don't really feel attractive, or you don't feel like, and maybe you're not conscious of it, but you don't feel as though men find you attractive, or there's plenty of people out there, or you distrust men. You're going to go to a social event, and there could be a really great person who's ready to love you, walks up to you and talks to you, and you'll find something wrong, take something that they said and twist it in your mind and get all worried, or he'll ask you for your number and maybe take it 2 days to call, and in your mind you're having another relationship that doesn't even involve that other person. And I remember when you told me once, Rob, we were sitting with a woman a couple of years ago. It was when we first started working together, and she was having trouble with her husband, and Rob and I went to lunch with her, and he said to her, you're in love, your relationship is in your mind. You don't even know what's in his mind. You're making all these assumptions of what this other person's thinking. And so if your mind is bringing to the table, I'm not loved enough, I don't trust other people, I'm afraid to get hurt, it doesn't matter who that person is. You're going to filter all the good out. And so what the pre-attraction mindset is to kind of figure out, how do I filter the best of me, so when I come to a relationship, I could see that in other people.
Yes, that's right. We kind of have a template of what love is in our unconscious mind. Now, what that means is that we really can't see it. Mm-hmm. We think it's coming from the outside, or that these situations that arise for us in relationships are arbitrary, accidental. They just happen to come up for us.
I have bad luck in love. Some people posted that earlier, that I'm unlucky in love.
Yes. And what we're missing there is that we're creating those things. We're creating those situations. And it's hard to believe, I understand, for a lot of people.
And not consciously, so
yeah,
don't beat yourself up about it.
That's right. It's just like a side effect of your past history. Mm-hmm. The experiences that you went through got recorded, imprinted in your mind, and now your mind uses those imprints to create the current situation.
And this isn't a bad thing. I mean, when we have a mind that creates this template for us, it helps us survive in the world. Like, we know if we touch fire, we're going to burn our hands. Mm-hmm. And, when there's, going down a dark alley and you hear steps, I mean, we have that fear. We have a lot of those protective mechanisms. But we also learned protective mechanisms around our heart. And we have psychological fears that have nothing to do with physical survival. And so the psychological fears, such as a fear of being ashamed, being rejected, feeling not good enough. And so we have all those things that we're bringing in that we've learned to be based on, what we experienced early on. And maybe no one even told you were not good enough, but your internal narrative started to believe it. And then we kept repeating. It's like Groundhog Day. You start experiencing the same patterns. And if you notice, there's similar patterns in love and work. If you really look, and with your family, there's certain things that trigger you all the time. And that's because your mind is filtering the external situation, which is neutral, and making it mean something that is based on your template. And even in neuroscience, they have done studies where if you don't believe something, you won't be able to see it or perceive it. So they've had studies where they messed with people's perceptions, and they actually are fooled into seeing something that's not there, or not seeing something that is there. So if that's happening in your brain, and you're out there dating and you have this assumption that there aren't any great guys out there, or their love is hard to find, that's what you're going to put into your pre-attraction experience. And then the flirting and the playfulness and the bonding will stem from that. So the root is the pre-attraction mindset.
Yeah, it's a little confirmation bias.
Yes.
We only see what we expect to see. And it's a very powerful experience, because people say, well, I actually experienced it. I saw it with my own eyes.
It's real.
Yeah, and therefore they believe, I was right. I was right that there are no good people out there. I was right in that people are going to reject me. But again, it's coming from that internal structure of the kind of your past conditioning.
I wanted to share, I don't think I've ever shared, you and I might have talked about it before, but here's a really great example of someone who, just by their assumption, can create a relationship. So I was single forever. I met Rob when I was 41, and I felt like I was always perpetually single. And I think what my experience of working with women over all these years is that if they've been single for a long time, it's almost harder for you to believe that it's possible. So the longer time you're single, it's almost like embedded in you to assume that it's always going to be this way. Now, my sister, who I love very much, broke up with her boyfriend of 20 years. And within a couple months, she was in a new relationship. It was like nothing stopped her, because in her mind, her template, not to say that she was this spiritual evolved person, but her template said, I'm in a relationship. That's what my persona is. And my persona was a single woman. So it's so interesting how we end up assuming we play this role of the single person even, and that plays into our template. And so it reinforces it, and we become almost attached to that identity in a way, and we don't know what it would be like to be a couple. And I remember when you and I first started dating, I think we were dating like maybe even 3 years. I had been single for so long that I got a wedding invitation and it said plus guest. And the first thing I did was have this like old trigger of, who am I going to bring? I'm like, wait a minute, I have a boyfriend now I can bring. It was like my mind still hadn't gotten used to the fact that I was in a relationship. It was like mind blowing, like how easily the assumption was I'm single Debbie. So there's a lot of power in our assumptions and our beliefs.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to talk a little bit about how we see the template. And how can we start to look at that? And one of the things that I've been studying and over the years is the feminine archetypes by Toni Wolff came up with. And basically she said that women fall into 4 categories. They're either the mother wife, the lover, or the mistress, the professional woman, the career woman, or the mystical woman, the spiritual woman. And we have all 4 of them inside of us. But about 100 years ago, women typically just stayed in one lane. And based on our early life experience, our persona has been constructed around those 4 types. So if you are, like for instance, the lover she's carefree, and I was the lover for so long. I was like boy crazy and really wanting to experience, find that man, and that's kind of the lover, and non-committal, and I didn't even realize I fell in that category. And now I look back and I'm like, wow, if I would have known that, I would have known how to work with myself and see that I'm creating this experience. So what do you take away from the archetypes? We can't go into all of them and explain it all, but just in a top line.
Yeah, well, you certainly see that there are narratives that people fall into. There's the idea, for example, of unrequited love. Almost every other novel and movie about love is the theme is unrequited love, meaning the person is in love with somebody that doesn't love them back for some reason. And that becomes a whole kind of theme in people's lives.
Like I'm the woman who's like, I was always lonely, single Debbie.
Yeah, it becomes part of their persona, the way they identify. But again, a lot of this is unconscious. And so if you ask them, do you identify as a person who is never going to be kind of given love, they'll say no.
I would have. Actually, I would have said yes. I mean, I think some people do.
Yeah, some people
are like,
are
it's just never going to work out for me. And
that's
like
right.
someone just said, the chronic condition of single mother woman.
Yes.
You know, that I'm always alone, and it's like that kind of feeling. And we all have someone in our life, even if you're in a relationship, there's always someone in your life that has that kind of attitude. I mean, some of you may be hopeful and positive, and other people, it's kind of like you get into that kind of a defeatist idea around love.
Yes.
And you don't take action, and you get kind of...
Or you notice there's often a theme of falling in love with the impossible person.
Oh, yes.
Right? For some reason, they're married, or they live in another city, or something that prevents them from being together. But those
different
are the
religion.
People, those are the people that they attract or are attracted to.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes an infatuation. And of course, it's a very safe position because it's impossible essentially to get together, and so the person is safe.
Mm-hmm.
On and on, right? There's all these themes. But essentially, the way we have to, or we can access that unconscious content, which is really, if you think about it, it's emotion. It's the emotion that we hold in the body and in the mind that creates that assumption about who we are and what we can expect from others in love, in relationships. So the way to access that is through the emotional work.
Mm-hmm.
Through looking inward at what are these things that I'm attracting into my life in relationships. What are they reflecting about my deeper assumptions?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's right there. Essentially, the external circumstances are like a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
It's like looking in a mirror and saying, oh, I see, I keep attracting people that are emotionally unavailable, or they live in another city, or they're married and unavailable,
or they're not making money, or they're working really, they just started a business and they're not ready. Or like when I met you, you were getting your PhD, and so I was thinking any other time, like that would have been a great excuse. I'm getting my doctorate, I have to study, and I was starting my hypnotherapy practice. I mean, I was busy too. But we made it work because we were both committed to having love. So a lot of people say, well, it's a good excuse, really, to stay out of a relationship.
Yeah.
And so what's the emotional core? Like, how do people get there?
Yeah, so you definitely need a coach, because what we've seen is that you can't really see your own unconscious mind directly. The coach essentially helps you understand the reflection by looking at what are the results that you're getting in love, and interpreting that almost like interpreting a dream. Like
symbolically, right?
Yeah, because it's a type of projection, right? Remember, we're creating it, and so it's arising from our own mind. So when you analyze what's happening in these situations, and you start to look at the pattern, you start to get a sense of what's in the unconscious mind.
And what I find is that the emotional trigger, the emotional core that really sets you free, actually, it usually shows up not around love. It usually shows up in some other random situation, and it's like really intense, and it's showing you exactly why you're stuck. But if you don't have someone to help guide you, you'll be kind of trying to figure it out yourself, and it takes a lot longer. And the ego's so clever, it wants to hide it. And so having someone help guide you, you get there faster. You'll get the insights faster. You'll change faster. I mean, we run a coaching company. We believe in coaching. We know that some people can just kind of do some self-analysis, and that's great. But actually having a coach show you the mirror, it will just expedite your results. I remember when I first started my business, I had a coach, and I didn't even know what a coach was. And none of my friends that started their hypnotherapy practice had coaches. And I was the one who was successful, because I needed someone to help me get out of my head and get out of my excuses and really see what's possible. if we just go by our own minds, we'll be in a fog a little bit. We don't even realize we're in it, and it seems so practical. And I can tell you, every coaching session I have is so powerful because someone will assume something completely different than what's actually going on. And when they realize that, you're actually reclaiming your power, because the real defense of the ego is to make it about something out there that you're powerless to. And the coach's main goal is to say, hey, it's right inside. You have the power right within you. You can change this. You have the power. It's not about, here's some tips to motivate you. It's more, how do we have the power to reclaim back, to change our love destiny versus just wait for the right person to show up. Or make a list of 10 places you can go and how to write a great profile. You want someone to really help you get to the root so you can shift it. And then all those efforts you make and all those, if you want to do, follow the rules if you want to, you probably won't once you make the emotional shift, because you'll naturally act as a woman who is loved and worthy of love and trusts others, and it'd be effortless.
Yeah, also the fact that insight is not enough. A lot of people come to us and they say, well, I've done some work and I've figured out my patterns, or I know my patterns. But that has changed anything, we ask them, and most of the time they say, no, it hasn't changed, because insight is not enough. Looking at it and seeing the pattern is not enough. You have to be able to access the emotions that created those patterns.
And the emotion that created the pattern was based on some kind of survival mechanism. When you were younger, there was a part of you that the ego said, we need to survive. So it triggers this feeling. And so anytime we have that trigger, or those emotional triggers in our life, it's the ego setting its alarm bells off. And what it does is actually contracts us. It pulls us in. It wants to hide. It wants to pull back. It wants to project and run away or avoid, or even fight and push people away. And if we realize that that's what's happening, the ego's feeling threatened. You're not really seeing your potential in that moment. And if you let that emotion drive, you're going to, keep creating the same result. And one of the emotions that I often work with people is this anxiety that I'm never going to meet anyone. That feeling of it's never going to happen, it's hard, or that feeling of rejection. Those emotions are actually key for us to open up and investigate, versus let me get rid of that anxiety, let me tap it away or clear it energetically. We want to pull it in. We want to say, let's open it up. Let's see what this anxiety has to show me. And what you're doing is you're basically looking at it from a higher perspective. And you're saying, is this really true? You're pulling it open, and it's losing its pull on you. It's almost like a knot that you're untying, like a knot that's tight, has no room to move, and you're stuck in that pattern. And then working with the emotion, what we're doing is opening up that knot and opening up possibilities for you. So it's emotional work, but also it's understanding our patterns and understanding the template that we are operating under, and why we act the way we do, why we get triggered, like why does it bother me when this happens or that happened. To have that insight and understanding is also very important too, because that's how we grow and how we have an expansive view of ourselves and the world, and are able to choose, or else we're just kind of running on autopilot.
Yeah, I'm always amazed at how people are able to transform their life. And you see it, we see it as coaches, we see it taking place right in front of our eyes. Because literally within weeks or months, you see this person transform and kind of take back their power, and they're able to make real decisions about who they are and what they expect from their life. Well,
one of the love personas that we teach in the love persona system is the mother-wife type. And the mother-wife type is the nurturer, the caretaker, the giver. And so a lot of times she'll attract men or be that role in relationships. And in that role, she can't ask for what she wants a lot of times. She can't be direct. Right. She kind of doesn't want any conflict, so she won't speak up when she needs to. And also feels responsible for everything, just like the mother. She's always taking care of everyone. So if things don't work out in a relationship, the mother-wife type would be like beating herself up and she should have done something different. You know, a lot of times I hear people say, I should have called him one more time, or I should have texted him. It's all my fault. I didn't take care of that relationship. And so the mother-wife type ends up kind of feeling like she has to do the relationship for the guy, like help him along and give him a nudge and basically try to control him in a way. And so to understand, oh, am I operating in that type? How do we break free? And it's really that fear of letting someone else down or appearing selfish or appearing uncaring.
And of course, the mother is going to attract the eternal boy.
Yes.
Right? The man-child.
The man-child.
Say, because they're a perfect fit. He's looking for his mother, and she's looking
for her child.
Yeah, to take care of someone.
Yeah, and so we want to, it's okay to have that nurturing aspect, all women do, but if we're only operating in that limited persona, then we're building up a big shadow around that, and then it's driving our relationships, and we don't even realize it. We think, I'm such a good, giving, nurturing person, that's who I am, and if we over-identify with that, we end up limiting ourselves because there's so many other facets to being a woman, the mystical aspect of ourselves, the success and the warrior within us that wants to make change in the world. And then there's also the lover in us that wants to be passionate and free and travel the world. Like we have so many facets to us. And for most women, they're not awoken within them. They're kind of dormant. They're not active. And we want to activate them all.
Yeah, there's the other interesting one that you mentioned is the professional woman. To me, that's fascinating because so many of our clients fall into that category of this persona of the kind of the warrior, Amazon, professional woman who's got it all together and is going to conquer the world. And she does, sure enough, except in the area of love. What is that about?
Well, it's that they feel like that's where their security is. If they can control their finances, that gives them a better sense of security than a relationship. And so many women with a professional have they don't trust others with their heart. They have that kind of like, in God I trust and money I trust, but no men. And a lot of times too, they're brought up by mothers, their mothers who were housewives. And they saw maybe how limiting choices the mother had. She didn't have a lot of freedom. And unconsciously, she decided, or consciously, that I want to be my own. I don't want any man to tell me what to do. And so these personas that we take on, that template, is based on our early life, like you said. It's emotionally driven, and it drives who we attract and who we don't attract, and how we go through the other levels of attraction and bonding. And so we really want you to figure out what your persona is and make those changes so you can find that great love and be balanced in all four. And so that's what Empower Your Relationships for Love, that's our course is all about, that's our book is all about, and specifically our love coach training. We have a new love coach training that starts in March, and it is a 3-month program where you can learn how to do assessments on clients to understand what type they are, and then you're able to have a step-by-step on how to work with them emotionally. You're going to get some emotional wisdom tools. You're also going to get how to work with visualization, and these archetypes are alive in these women that you work with, and so it's a deeper way to work with someone. If you're the type of person that knows that you need transformation within, not just dating tips and not wanting to just work with people who just, where's the guy, I want to go get him. Women that want to grow and want to become the best they can be. That's what this program is about. And you know, a lot of people who take the program, they might not even want to be coaches, but they take the coach training because it has a lot of coaching in it. You get a coaching partner, you get coaching with us, you get coaching with our mentors, and you also get a 2-day in-person training. And by learning how to coach others in love, you actually are coaching yourself in a way, right?
Well, yeah, you have to go through the transformation yourself in order to take people through the love transformation, absolutely.
And we used to have we still do have a life coach training program that's 6 months, but we decided to do a smaller 3-month program because so many of our clients are single, and a lot of them want to be love coaches and have taken our training. And we wanted to do something really specific for them that provides depth of work, depth psychology, relationship psychology around the binding patterns, object relations, unconscious, how to work with the unconscious, and visualization and creativity and working with the imagination. And so it's going to be a great program. And I want to just let you know that you're personally all invited to apply. I'm going to be posting a link after we end that will give you the information on the page. You can look at the page, watch our video, and there's a link there that says, let's talk. Set up a call with me. Let's talk about it. The investment for this one is $4,000. It's normally $5,000. And if you sign up within the next week by the 21st, you will also get a bonus, the course that we do, that we give to our students that just want to take the love course. You get that as a bonus as well. So lots of great information to learn about love and maybe even start a new career. Another option, do you have anything to say about the love coach certification? I feel like I'm...
Well, just that it's probably the best one we've done, but when we compare it to what's out there, it's probably the best
in the world.
Yeah, because it does include attachment theory, object relations theory, which is the kind of the psychology of human interaction in close bonding situations, as well as Jungian theory of the archetypes and the anima and animus.
And also, it's like transformational coaching versus like just situational coaching and motivation. It's much deeper than that. And we have, it's all on video, actually. The video courses are on video, and then our group calls are on video. So you'll see us on video. We used to do audio calls, so we upgraded our system, and it's going to be amazing. So if you're interested, we'd love to talk to you about it in the next week. Apply so you can get that bonus course that's worth $1,000. So get that too. And then this premier 3-month training is in March, and that's only time it'll be $4,000. So it's going up to $5,000 the next round. So if you want to be in our premier group, we'd love to have you. We're doing 2 live trainings. If you have a choice of meeting us in London, UK, we'll be in London in May, or you can come to our training here in the US in LA in April. So that's exciting. And it's really a complete program where you're going to get access to us, access to lots of coaching and transformation. Also, if you say, you know what, I just want to find love. I don't want to do a coach training. Just give me the goods. We have another opportunity for you. One of the things that we developed with our new system is the Love Persona Type Test. And basically, it's a list of questions, probably like about 30 questions, and you go through the questions and you get a self-assessment, and then you get on a call with one of our mentors, and they'll take you through, you share your results, and they'll show you based on your type what you need to shift and what the next steps for you are, so you can create lasting love in your life and to break the patterns of the past so you can really step in. And so that's absolutely free for a limited time. So I'm going to post that link too. So you have 2 ways to work with us. You could become a love coach and take our coach training, which is amazing. Or if you want to take advantage of our free love persona test, take the test, find out what love persona you are. Are you the mother wife? Are you the lover? Are you the warrior professional? Or are you the mystic, the spiritual one? And based on your type, you're going to see so much about, revealed to you about why you're stuck in love and how you can make the changes to bring in all those other aspects of yourself in, and you have that pre-attraction mindset to bring in wholeness into every love relationship you have.
Nice.
So anyway, well, thank you so much. I just want to see if there's some questions here. Why do strange resistance start playing up as we work to break through the patterns? That's a great question. Like, when we start to break through patterns, why does resistance show up?
I know. Why can't it be easier?
Yeah.
You know, the ego has its defense mechanisms, and they're not trying to stop us. I mean, that's how it feels to a lot of people. Like there's something stopping me. They're really not designed to stop us. What they're designed to do is to protect us. So if you think about your life in evolutionary terms, right? You evolve from a child into an adult. you needed some defenses, some defense mechanisms to keep you safe and not have to reinvent yourself every day or every other year. What worked for you in the beginning, essentially the mind says, well, that's good enough. Let's go with that and let's just keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
And so that initial defense mechanism is, let's say, molded around your early childhood experiences.
And if we didn't have that defensiveness, we would just be flimsy. Like we would be changing every day, and we would have no like kind of solid sense of self. So it kind of holds us together in a way, but
Yes.
holds us in a survival mode.
Right. So the ego perceives this change, this transformation that's available to it as a threat,
Mm-hmm.
because its primary job is to keep you safe and and it says what worked in the past is going to work now.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is that we're not children living in that situation anymore. We have different needs, different aspirations, different dreams, and so you cannot create these new things in your life if you're still operating on the old system, basically, of defenses.
Mm-hmm. So whenever we try to change, those old defenses will show up, and in a way, it gives us it kind of fuel for your transformation. If you didn't have that resistance, it would be kind of flat. So the resistance, so we want to love the resistance, because the resistance, that pushing back, is really where we see what we're made of. It's a call to power. It's a rise to our power. That it's that calling that pushes us forward. And it's kind of like keeping you in a corral. And if you're serious and powerful enough to break through the resistance, then you can deal with what's outside on the other side. But if you don't build up that kind of strength and courage fighting the resistance, when you try to make changes, you'll pull back right away. So the resistance is kind of like preparing you for the big battle. It's almost like when you see any like hero story, he fights all these, the little demons and the bad monsters, and then he sees the big one. And then through his working with the little things, he ends up having the strength to overcome the dragon or whatever he needs to overcome. I'm talking on my hands a lot. I don't know why. Anyway, it's very exciting.
You're conducting.
Yes. What if you fall in all four, so men don't know how to deal with you? So here's the thing. If you fall in all four, that means you probably aren't answering the questions correctly, and you need to talk to a coach to help you. You can't just take the test. You have to actually talk to a coach, because a test will just give you a piece of it. And you're thinking that the men don't know how to deal with you, but that's you. You're seeing a reflection of yourself through the men. So it's not that you're changing your persona to fit and please a man. And that's kind of what happens, And then, a lot of women, maybe you're thinking, well, I'm too much. I have so much passion and I have so much mysticism to me, and I'm successful, and men think I'm too much. Well, if that's what you believe, that's what you're going to keep seeing. So I encourage you to schedule your call with a mentor to really get some clarity on that. So that's the most important thing. And hello, thank you, appreciate it. And yes, that it's never going to happen. If you keep saying that to yourself, that's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. And one of the things I've noticed, this is just a really great tip for you, is that we have to understand how the mind works, how the world works, how reality works. And reality works in this way, is that you have the potential for anything to happen, any love that you want. We've just been conditioned to think there's a limitation. We've been told by our human parents and the people around us that there's a limited world out there. And so we have to first believe that it's possible to change, that it's possible to create our life the way we want. So if you fall into it's never going to happen, you're just saying, I don't believe that. So one of the things you can do is just starting to hold your mind in the will to believe that. I will to believe it's going to happen. I might, not about going to make it happen out there, but I just want to be disciplined in my mind to just hold the belief. That's all you need to do, is just hold the belief. Of course, you need to do the emotional work too, but that's one of the ways to get over that feeling of it's never going to happen. And really, truly, if you don't believe it's going to ever happen, you won't do the things that will lead you to that happening. So you have to, everything starts with the belief first that pre-attracts your mindset before you go out. Even if you do personal development, even if you do courses or hire a coach, if you don't have that belief, that's going to inhibit or limit your success with that coach or with anything you do. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you take us up on the offer for creating a great new love in your life this year. I have the emails, the information here for you if you want to apply. Rob, do you have anything to add before we go while I'm doing this?
I just want to say, these Valentine's Days, it is a special occasion because it marks the remembrance of love and the kind of the position that love has in our lives. Yeah, if you think about it, besides work, finding love and creating a meaningful relationship for yourself is really like half of your life.
Mm-hmm.
It is such an important aspect of our human nature, and we've kind of neglected it. We don't really know that much about it, and my own field in psychology is guilty of that, of not really paying attention to it in its proper context. It's such an important aspect of being human, being happy, being fulfilled in your life, that we have to kind of take up the slack ourselves and pay attention to it and learn as much as possible what it is, how we can help people create it in their lives. And being a love coach is that opportunity for a lot of people. If you have that calling, this is a great opportunity, so check it out.
Yes, it is really amazing. A lot of our clients will take the coach training and they'll say, well, I don't really know if I want to be a coach, but I do want to learn more. I want to go deeper. I want to have more access to you guys. And you learn about psychology and for my own personal work. And then they go, you know what, I think I might want to be a coach now. And they go through the process and then they feel, I want to teach people this. And even if you're in the corporate world and you say, well, I could just use it and you could do weekend classes, a workshop every 6 months and really have a great time and add that element to your life. Or you could do it part-time in the weekends until you build up your clientele and make it your career. So you can do it any way, use it any way you like. And a lot of our clients too use the work in the corporate world. They end up becoming asked by their bosses and their human resources departments to put on workshops and to help people in their different areas. So it's really exciting to have that training in psychology in a very easy way without going 4 years or 6 years, get a master's degree. You get the cliff notes and understand the human mind and the human psyche, which I find is the most fascinating subject. So if you love to learn, this is really the program for you. If you love to learn and you want love, it's really the perfect program. And so thank you so much. She said, I have grown so much and going deeper with my current love relationship. Feel so blessed. Great.
Nice.
Well, thank you again, everyone, for joining us. Happy Valentine's Day. We are going to have the replay for those of you who want to miss the beginning and want to come back and watch the intro at the beginning of this program. And we hope to see you live very soon. We'll be doing some live trainings in this and teachings in this group coming forward. So on all topics, not just love, we're going to be talking about consciousness, archetypes, dreams, anima animus, all the wonderful things about psychology here too.
That's right.
So take care, everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks for joining us. And we send you lots of love and hope this year is filled with more love than you can possibly imagine. So take care, everyone.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.